out and about, seeing some beautiful natural sights that have been so refreshing. So hopefully folks are taking the time to refresh yourselves with nature. If you have to be triggered, why not trigger yourself with nature? So I'm also checking in with this Afro flower challenge, this natural fine hair challenge for these folks out there that have very, very fine hair. My hair is very fine and it's not being twisted. So this is what it's looking like so far. You can go back and scan through the older videos to see when we first started the challenge. So it's another month in, and my very, very fine hair, it's not being twisted. There's no products. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not putting anything on my skin. Actually, today I am playing with a little mascara, but that's it. I really adore a carefree lifestyle. Now, there is nothing wrong with glam. However, I have made a choice to trade in beauty per se for confidence and health, because I think most of us we're at our most attractive when we are healthy. So who gives two peach pits about, you know, a bunch of folks sitting randomly in a boardroom deciding what products to peddle to me? I'm not for it. So this is what it's doing so far. My very fine hair, it's joined together, sit at one piece. When the last time I was scissor happy, this is the trademark. So I think it's not, I think it is growing, but I'm just not paying too much attention to it. I don't really give two peach pits about how much hair it is. It's still on my head. If it starts falling out at some point, if it goes thinner when I'm 70, I'll cut it off. Who cares? I have more things to do with my time. So I did share one of the pictures from, oh my gosh, I've gotten to see some beautiful coral and some ocean and sleep underneath the stars and be totally unplugged from social media for like about a week, and it was absolutely glorious. I have never experienced being serenaded by the ocean like that. I have never experienced the ocean like in a thatched hut surrounding me, and sleeping underneath shooting stars with no place to plug in even if you wanted to. Oh my gosh. So we have to go back. So if any of you are interested, you'll have to hit me up privately if you're interested in orchestrating a private little sojourn for yourself. I think that every person, definitely every woman, should treat yourself. That was like, hair in my mouth. That was, I have never experienced anything so beautiful, and it just took your breath away. I couldn't even capture all of the stars that were right in my face every night in the shooting stars. So back to this video. How do you get AFROLOCS, right? If you've got this kinky texture hair, whatever your texture hair is, clean it with a gentle shampoo. And I will definitely say I was in seawater and all of that. My hair felt fantastic. Stop combing it. That's it. See how complicated that is? Wash it. I would recommend a very light natural shampoo. It makes a world of difference, whether you're using the, you know, the Tutti Frutti, even the clarifying, all those different shampoos at the discount store. You can feel a total difference. They will strip your hair. However, I noticed with absolutely no products, when I wash my hair and skin always feel good. If I was out in the bush for a while, at that time I only had access to creek water and nothing on my skin. However, I've been eating living foods consistently, I think going on for 12 years, and before that I've always had a focus on eating healthy. You'll have to find what your sweet spot is, but I have found when I'm taking the nutrition from the inside, and that's my focus more than topically, I see a total difference. I used to have a lot of crazy looking acne. My face looking like the sidewalk. So there's nothing on my skin, and there's a place for glam. There's a place for glam. I'm not telling you to throw out your glam. You get to say what that looks like for you. I, however, prioritize simplicity. I want to run and play. And this whole trip recently, I'll share some of the pictures on Body-Culinary on Instagram, and also inside the community post I shared one. There was nothing more beautiful than being free and not giving two peach pits about my hair. I'm not twisting, I'm not rolling, I'm not doing nada. I'm just not doing it. It's not that I don't like glam and all that, but I had other things to do. I was jumping in the water. Yes, I did a little skinny dipping by myself as the sun was coming up. And the sunrise, every sunrise and sunset was so spectacular. the last thing I would want to think about is my hair. If I had to roll my hair or be concerned about a product, it's just not the move for traveling. And I used to work in the travel industry. It's not the move. I felt so free. So this I call freedom hair. You can call it whatever floats your boat. But I was able to jump in the water and the parts of the Caribbean Sea that had like little warm spots. It wasn't a hot spring, but just warm bath and like the salt. I could feel like and this is a great distinction. If you're interested and you have very fine hair, there's some things that we have concerns with. Is we're concerned about our hair being dry. So my hair is dry. It doesn't have any oil or any product. So perhaps this can give you an idea of what your hair is going to look like. Now, I used to have very fluffy 2-strand twists. These were very fluffy, but this can give you an idea if you're twisting what your hair can look like if it's very, very fine and compact. See, these are Congo Nati. Well, this is a Congo Nati for me, right? This is as big as it's going to get, and all of them are flat. Do I care? No, it's light. It's fluffy, it's no oil, carefree, no oil dripping down my face, contributing to acne. All of those resources, all of those time, you can use it to plant stuff in your garden, and you can use it to travel. It's a trade-off, not right or wrong. I am not better than nobody because they have makeup on. I can appreciate artistic expression and a full face of makeup. However, just like with your food, you'll have to decide what you prioritize. I prioritize play, sweating. I tried to climb a coconut tree. I did not get all the way up the coconut tree. But it's wonderful to just kick my shoes off and not be concerned. I could not be out in this garden with dragging nails. So I can appreciate it, but you'll have to decide what you're prioritizing. I prioritize play. It's a big part of my healthcare sanity and my immune system. So this hair, I call it freedom hair, AFROLOCS. You might be Asian. You might want to get you some Asian afro or some Asian locks. Work it out. I don't care about the labels. Just like I care less what you call yourself. I'm more concerned about the behavior. So you want to get AFROLOCS? Stop twisting it. Sometimes people ask me concerns. Somebody asked recently, I don't know if it's a subscriber, someone asked me like, what's the problem? It's 3 years and I still have an afro. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing to your hair. I can't see. It's like sometimes folks ask me for exercise advice. It kind of almost doesn't make sense because I can't see what your hair looks like. But I do know my hair is very, very clean. If you stop combing it, all hair will mat. It will mat. Some quicker than others. My hair, one of the benefits of all of those tangles, it will mat very quickly. All of this is going to continue to break off more than likely from the areas where I twisted it. It gets very, very weak. So it's almost like organic. You follow the hair. I could see that it would most likely, if I want locks, stay on my head if I stop twisting it. So keep it clean with a natural shampoo. The one shampoo it recently showed up, which is rare where I am. If I don't have shampoo, no problem, because I'm pulling, what are we pulling out of here? Oregano, neem leaf, basil. I'm pulling all of these herbs out of my garden, right? Afronomics. And that's what I'm pulling to make teas for my hair. But there's definitely a big distinction. There's like a feeling, like I almost feel I must be sebum. So I could feel like a normalization. That's the best way I can describe it of my hair, where it's dry in terms of not wet, but not brittle at all. So it's light and fluffy. And after you initially pull the oils and the other things out of your hair, there'll be a period where your hair will kind of normalize. And you just won't have the need to strip it down because there's nothing in it. So you can get locks by just leaving your afro alone. Maybe part of it is our control of what it wants to look like. So I don't want 5 locks. So I've let them join together. A lot of mine are 4, right? I don't know if I got 30 locks or whatever, so I'm not sweating it. You can decide where you want your part and just leave it alone. If you're concerned you have shorter hair, you may want to put it on a sponge roller, you know, or those little curly things, but nothing. I'm not doing discomfort. Excuse my neighbor's sheep and roosters and stuff like that. So yeah, it sounds like a baby crying. It's a sheep. So I'm just prioritizing leaving it alone, and it's so freeing. I mean, this trip I took was a perfect example of, I was underneath the stars, I was laying on the floor, rolling in the sand, busting open the coconuts from the tree, and I was not concerned about my hair. Last thing on my mind is my hair. The other thing is that folks sometimes have the question about raw vegan. Now, I have a tendency to not prefer labels, and a lot of times I will not use a label because we can have a tendency as humans to ego trip and become very divisive or even somewhat elitist. I know what that's like. I've been there. It's just not necessary. The more life experience long you've been on this planet, I don't know if you want to, I don't prefer to isolate myself from people. Maybe perhaps I'll use the distinction of raw or vegan in terms of what is in my food, if I should be eating something from someone, which is rare. I just prefer my own food. So for me, I prefer plant foods for different reasons. However, some folks may prefer something different and find that ratio. If you're going to eat fish, if you're whatever you're going to eat, it's not my bi bubble eye business. Are you happy? Are you greetings, Rhonda? Do you feel contented? There are many different questions to ask yourself. Are you eating? And a lot of what I do in my practice as a personal trainer and a nutrition coach is not just the food and nutrition. People keep thinking it's about a recipe. It's not just a recipe. It's not just a recipe. That's the best way I can describe it. Some people don't get it. When you come and you spend time, you're going to see it. And oh my gosh, there's some beautiful places for us to explore. My mind has been blown. I've just been at the waterfalls, underneath the ocean, all this stuff. But it's not the recipe. The best way I can describe the nuances of the food, right? You want to eat delicious food. However, quite often we're soothing emotions and we're eating, we're actually not hungry. And that can be perhaps for several reasons. One is because the things we're eating are substances masquerading as food. That's what I'll call it. So, and I used to be a junk food junkie, and there's a history of morbid obesity, diabetes, and all that stuff in my family. So quite often we're soothing emotions and intangible emotional pain or looping thoughts. We're soothing them with food, and it's more socially acceptable to do it with food than crack or meth or something else like that. So that's number one. It's not real food, not nutrient dense, and then also it's socially acceptable. Excuse the ants over here. And then we're ego tripping off a label. So you may be holding on to something, a concept. I don't care if it's raw or vegan. Some people might be upset saying this, but I'm not the food police. If you stay on your path and perhaps you ask yourself quality questions of why you're eating what you're eating. Is it full of nutrition? Is it food that loves you back? Principles I find can guide you more in your food choices than just claiming a label. The label doesn't say enough about the awareness, where your headspace is, ouch, mosquito, where your headspace is at when you're eating. So if you're angry and upset, it's true, you're angry and upset, that's affecting your digestion, your gut biome, the quantity and the quality of the amount you're eating. And there's a question that comes up, can I eat this raw? Can I eat that raw? Or living, as I like to call it, living more so than a raw. Raw is the label. Living speaks more to the behavior of the food and can give you more clues to how the food distinction that we make in the classes and the coaching. Let me know. I know some folks have been asking me. However, I'm switching the schedule up because I can only accommodate but so many people, and they will be at certain hours. So back to the distinction. Living foods and whole foods, unprocessed foods, speak more to how food is going to behave in your body and on your body. So whatever your label, you could be eating more fat than the standard American diet with raw foods if you're just eating cookies and cakes and pizzas. So that's a mentality, and it's a way that we're soothing ourselves with heavy foods, if that makes sense, even if they're raw or if they haven't been processed or heated. So finding the ratios, right, of how much fat is enough fat, the quality of the fat. Are we processing even at home the food until it's no longer food? Do we have some foods that are recreational that we can look forward to? You want something, everybody, we need something to look forward to. Now many of our minds are like limited, like, oh, I have to have my flesh, I have to have my pie from this place. Okay, do whatever works for you. I ain't the food police. If it's working for you, if it's working for your waistline, if you, when you're by yourself in your quiet moments, can say, this, what I'm putting into my organs is going to give me longevity, vitality, energy. This is going to allow my body to run and play, because the hikes and stuff that I just saw in nature, I'm so grateful. So many times I'm so grateful for investing in the 401k of my movement practice and the quality of my food. There's no way I would have been able to go run and play you know, with my son, you know, on these slippery rocks and several different waterfalls, you know. So I'm so grateful. Wherever you are, I invite you, right? So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body-Culinary, personal trainer, professional chef, mother, natural born woman. Shout out to you, whatever your expression is. And gardener. And I love living a natural style, a lifestyle, or as natural as you can get it with the environment that you're in. And so on this channel, I love to encourage peaceful consumption, food, and a eating consumption pattern that is peaceful to your brain, your reproductive organs, your mood, your vitality, your vision for your life. See, the principle, more than the people and the labels. I love to also share encouragement to start a garden, whether that's in a room, an apartment, wherever you're paying rent or a mortgage. And also to cultivate a movement practice, right? Find out what you need to do to work around your injuries smart and effectively, so you have a movement practice that can grow and become more seasoned. As you become more seasoned, as you grow into your, as a centenarian, because there's lots for us to run and play. Listen, I claim it. Hold on to your joy out here, because there's a lot of forces out here looking to distract the very valuable real estate of your focus and your attention that is needed for your immune system. All this shock and frightening ourselves and looping this stuff, it affects your gut. It affects your packing stuff in. That's one of the most magnificent things about this recent trip. I was like, oh my gosh, if I was bathing my senses, like I was literally sleeping like on the ocean, so loud. It's almost like washing the slate of your mind clean. In a different environment, you really get to see how trumped up we are on triggeration. This stuff is going to drive you to eat all kinds of medicating substances. It will render you almost not present to be with your loved ones, or to be triggering and snapping off on each other. So I invite you, even if it's 2 plants, one to eat and one is very beautiful, start right there perhaps. You don't have to be perfect. You can fail. Failure is feedback. How else you gonna learn? I'm sitting in this big old garden from the city. I have Bayesian and I have Southern family, but I didn't grow up in the country. So I've been willing to fail. Set yourself free. Be willing to fail so that you can learn. Be willing to see. I invite you, don't tell grown folks what to do. I invite you to see your hair and what it has and what it can do. So I'm constantly being pleasantly surprised, but I haven't been sure what this would look like. And I could always cut it off. I feel very confident, even if I had this a little bit of hair. I've shaved a ball before just to challenge myself to see how I would feel and to face those quote unquote fears. So I could just swipe some olive oil, some coconut cream, which is what I was doing. Fresh pressed with my plant milk bags. You can see them on my Etsy store. Or go to bodyculinary.com. And later I'm about to go out and go see some spider monkeys. So I ain't worried about the hair. So just perhaps investigating and listening to your own thoughts, like the inhibitions and the insecurities. Where did those come from? When you're little, you're not even thinking about that stuff. Where do all these insecurities come from? So I've observed that there are some, not all, but perhaps most folks looking to peddle products to me, although they have smiling faces on the packages, there's an undertone that I'm not as worthy, or I don't stand as much of a chance of being chosen or validated if I don't have the stuff. And I say, nah. I choose me, and there's a lot of fun to be had. There's a whole big, beautiful planet out there to see. Even if you're in the States, there's national parks and stuff. There's Prospect Park, one of my favorite parks, you know, in the world. There's a lot to see. And so I'm not interested in having hair hold me back. So you'll find what your sweet spot is, what you can maintain. But I'm telling you, this is freedom. Freedom, not thinking about it. It's nice and clean, fluffy. Last thing on my list, I'm about to, you know, if it rains today, I won't be concerned. It'll just get wet and it'll dry immediately because there's no oil in it. So how to get AFROLOCS? Leave it alone. Are there certain things you can eat raw or living? Yes. Chaya, you cannot eat raw. There's certain greens, certain plants that have, because plants do have toxins too, and they have their little protective agents in them. Some of them are poisonous depending on the amounts. So chaya, you cannot. Sweet potatoes, actually you can eat them raw. So ideally, if you can, you want to get them organic or find a food cooperative. Perhaps if you're buying on a regular basis and you're supporting the farmer, they will listen to your feedback about the quality of the produce that you're getting. You may want them to put some nuts or something aside before the harvest that they don't toast for you. So there's really something to be said for creating some type of an environment or a relationship with the people that are growing your food. Because I've been cracking cahoon nuts and husking coconuts, and to get them in the States for $2, we be complaining. But this is some work. This is some work. I just had a big man climb up the tree and crack to go up the tree, get the coconuts, bring them down, husk the coconuts, then crack the coconuts, and then grind the coconuts. I'm like, thank you, Grandma Lou. Thank you. So I just wanted to check in with y'all today. Yes, it is totally possible to live a living foods lifestyle, or to find the fuel that is not going to leave a bunch of waste on your way. So no condemnation to yourself, not necessary. However, put your hand on your little midsection and see, you know, do you have a bunch of undigested meals there, or a lot of things that were only recreational, but were not substances or foods or nutrients or energy that could really nourish you at a cellular level, which is so necessary, yes, for our mood, for our vitality. There's so many reasons. All that perhaps is missing is perhaps you getting a bit more education to understand how to manipulate the ingredients, the texture, the flavor, and the presentation. So you're welcome to check out Goddess Cakes. That workshop was a couple of weeks ago. That is available on body-culinary.com. Do subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you're interested in the cocoon. A lot of that is going to be in the wee hours and on the weekends. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff coming up. So I can't always come on social media. I don't always want to come on social media because this could be a distraction. This thing could suck your energy right up. So subscribe to the channel if you find some value. Perhaps share this with someone that could use some motivation. Yes, we don't have to put any products in our hair. We can do the you know, bouncing and behaving hair. It's just going to look like what we look like with our own unique fingerprint and beauty mark. So, you know, I share kudos to everybody else. So enjoy what you have on your head. Enjoy your skin. It wants to breathe. Your body is telling you a story. Your skin, your energy level, your elimination, it's all telling you a story about how your temple, your human suit, which we will all lay down at some point, is telling you how it's responding to the substances you're putting into it, how much or how little you're recharging it back into sleep and rest, and not to have to digest food all the time. It's communicating to you. Are you listening? I'll see you soon. This is Body Culinary. Check me out, Kwasa Peaceful Eating with a K, full belly. Kwasa Peaceful Eating on TikTok. And somewhere else, and Body Culinary on Instagram here, and body-culinary.com. Subscribe so you can get on the mailing list so you know when I'm doing different special events. If you're interested in cocoon coaching, so you can see if that is a match for you. It may not be a match for everybody. And you can see if you need coaching or assistance, if you're interested in taking on whole living foods as a lifestyle. Before you can get to me, if you can't get to me immediately, everything I could think of and pictures and everything, I put it together in a guide. Whole living foods in the hood, part 1 with menus to fit your budget. So I'm giving you ideas of budgets, different types of spending plans, and what I have purchased, and different ideas for what you can prepare. If you want to come in to learn, which is going to be more than a recipe, and spend time with me in the kitchen and in the garden, you can let me know on the website. Either subscribe, leave a little note in the message section, and I'll get back to you. All right, see you soon.